Hi and welcome back. Susan here. Today I'm going to talk about what I believe are essential makeup brushes for everyone to have, and some that I don't believe are essential but are definitely a good idea to have. Getting right into it, I'll start with brushes, complexion brushes or face brushes. Oh dear, as I like to call them. Don't go too far. So the first one everybody has probably seen, and they're all dirty because I've used them today and I haven't washed them yet, is a paddle foundation brush. This one is by Sephora. I don't know if you can even see that. I don't believe this is essential, and I never use these for applying foundation because they leave streaks. But what I do like this for is, number one, applying facial masks, and number two, for applying my primer. It gives me a much smoother, more even application than using my fingers for either of those two purposes. So I really like to have it. I do use it every day, but is it essential? No. You can get away with just using your fingers for the purposes that I use these for. Let's see, so we'll go on to foundation. For foundation, you know what, you can get away with and have a nice finish just using your fingers. I usually start by applying my foundation with my fingers and rubbing it in as though it was a moisturizer. And then I go in with this kind of a brush, a flat top kabuki or a buffing brush. This one is a Makeup Geek brush. It was less than $15 and it's excellent. Real Techniques makes a buffing brush or an expert face brush. Anyways, I spritz water on it, about 3 to 5 spritzes, dab it off on my hand a little, and then buff. And it just shears out the foundation a little so that you're not getting that heavy look. And it really gives you that airbrushed finish by just really polishing it into the face and taking off any excess. So for me, this is an essential, but again, do you have to have it? No. It's nice to have. It's not a must-have. Let's see. Concealer. So for concealer, this is my go-to brush. I love this brush. This is the Sigma P86. Let's see if I can, there we go. It's very pointed, very firm bristles, but soft. I'll put the concealer on my hand, dab this in. You can get right into the corners of your eyes, the outer corners, to give you that lift, nice facelift effect under the eyes. Right here where my yucky dark circles are, you know, I put little down the nose, here, 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 and you can see it just goes everywhere that you need it to go. So again, I love this brush. I use it every day. For me, it's a must-have, but you can get away with just, you know, applying concealer with your fingers and patting it in. So what I usually do is use this, put it on, pat, and next I will then use this Sephora airbrush concealer brush, and I don't know if you can even see that. But after I patted it in, I will then just, you know, work it in really nicely, bring it down because you want that nice glow down here into the center of the face, and buff things out using this brush. So again, this for me is a must-have. I love this brush. But do you need to have it? No. You could apply your concealer with your fingers, pat it in, and always use your ring finger, and then use your Beauty Blender sponge to get in there and pat it in into the nose, up the nose, into the forehead. And this is also great for, again, just bounce it off your skin, just hold the end of it, and it'll give you a beautiful finish on your foundation without having to use a brush at all. So the Beauty Blender sponge, definite must-have. They're about $20. Well worth it. I've tried the knockoffs. There's nothing like an actual Beauty Blender sponge, unfortunately. Sorry, like I said, I used mine today to prepare for this, to see what I absolutely had to have. But this, if I could have no face makeup brushes, I would use my Beauty Blender. I would need to have that. So this is a must-have. Like I said, it does everything. So then I'm going to set that aside for a second, come back to it. Contouring and highlighting. Now, I do have different brushes that I use, but today, to be more frugal, I applied highlighter. My highlighter, whether you use a cream or a liquid, with my fingers instead. And so I didn't use the brush I would normally use to do that, to the bridge of the nose, on the forehead, right here, right here. So I just use my fingers for that, so you don't actually need a brush for that at all. And this here is a small contour brush. You'll also see that there's like the slanted brush is another good one to use for this purpose. But again, contouring, this is small, so it gets right in there and does a nice contour. And when you're contouring, you're going to want to contour into the hairline here, like a number 3, around here, and then down here. Again, right here, right into the hairline. Here, go down, go here. And if you're, getting more mature like I am, and you want to just disguise a bit of chin action happening here, you're going to want to carry your contour color down here. You could do your nose with it here, because it is pointy. So this is a great brush to have, and you could also apply your blush with it. Just pat it in and then buff it out. So I use a separate brush for all my contouring and bronzer. But do you need to have this brush? If you wanted to use it as a blush brush as well, then this is great. If you just, if you don't want to buy a special brush, or you don't bother with contouring, then you wouldn't need a small brush like this. So this is, I'll let you make the decision on that one. Blush brush. Now, I have a very small brush that I apply the brush to my cheeks with. Again, I don't favor doing the apples of the cheeks for blush. I know everybody's been told to smile and then put your blush on here, but as you can see, you smile, put your blush on, and when you're not smiling, if you're not going to go around like this all day, the blush that you put here is now drooped, and now you're pulling your face down and making yourself look older. So I favor applying blush high up, right under my highlight, and right here. This way, keeping the blush high up and back, you're not getting that. As you can see, smiling doesn't actually move this part of my face that much, whereas this does. So a good blush brush definitely is a must, and my favorite is the Lancome number 6. And then again, you could use this for contouring as well if you wanted to, and for highlighter. Last but not least is a knockoff powder brush. You could apply powder with this by patting it onto your face, knocking the excess off, and then knocking the excess powder off your face, and that's what this is really meant for, these powder brushes. I favor using my damp Beauty Blender into the powder. It gives you a more dewy finish, and just putting the powder, dip in and put the powder where you want it, and then knock it off. So this is an essential brush, because you do need a way to be able to knock off the excess powder, not go around with globs of powder all over your face. Onto eye brushes. What do I think is essential? This is an angled eyeshadow brush. Everybody's seen them. I don't use them for eyeshadow. I use mine just to contour the nose. If you don't want a special brush for that, you don't need it. You can use, if a cream contour, you can use your fingers. If it's a powder, you can use the bronzer brush, or any other small brush, even an eyeshadow brush. So this is not essential, but it is nice to have for that detail work. What is essential to have is a fluffy dome brush like this one, rounded tip. This one is the Makeup Geek Pointed Crease Brush. It's great for I just define the eye here. I don't prefer socketing this way because when you do this, you are now dragging the eye down. So unless you like looking older with your eyes drooping, it's not a great way to socket. What does work much better is applying the brush and just going perpendicular to the highest point of your eyes. Bring it, and once you've got the color in, as you can see, you can then go down to that highest point. This brush is also excellent afterwards if you have another one that's clean to blend your eyeshadow with. So this is a must, a brush like this, and many companies make them. Let's see, another a must-have is a flat, stiff brush like this one. This one is a Sephora one. I can't remember what it's called, and I don't know if you can see it on camera. Probably not. But it is used to pack color onto the lid like this. So that's what you can use this one for, or need to use this one for really. You can also get in with the tip like this to do a brow highlight, so you won't need a special brush for that. You can get under the lash line with it as well, and you can get into the corner. So this is a versatile brush, and if you can afford more than one, I would recommend it so that you've always got clean, a few different ones depending on the colors you're using. Let's see, next essential for me, and I believe everybody should have this, is an outer V brush or a small round crease brush. This one again is by Makeup Geek. I like Makeup Geek brushes because they're very affordable and they do what they're supposed to do. Now this one is great for getting right in here and then here if you're doing some, defining the outer part of the eye. It's great for applying eyeshadow and smudging it, eyeliner out under the eye as well. So definitely a must-have. Another must-have for me, and again, you could use this brush. I like having a second brush for that because if I've now used it for this, I will either need a new one or to blend with, or you're going to muddy your eyeshadow. So you could have two of these if you wanted to, one clean and one that you're using for color. I prefer using this one, and this is very similar to the MAC 237, I believe. But don't quote me on that. Again, it's great for blending. It's fairly stiff. It's a little bit pointy, and it's great for, once you've got your shadow colors applied, you now use this to blend out. And again, at the corners, make sure you're going up and not just, all over the place, because you don't want to draw the eye down. And again, smudging out here. So I do believe a brush like this is essential, but if you would prefer, you could buy two of these and use them. Now this one isn't essential if you have the one I'm going to show you next. Nice wide brush here. Now this is great for applying your eyeshadow under the eyes, even applying, your eyeshadow right to the lash line, pressing it in. You can even use it to tight line with. So, I use different brushes for that kind of thing, but you don't need to. You can just use this. You could also use this on the eyebrows. I prefer a smaller one for that, which I will show you now. So this is a double-ended. You can buy just a cheap spoolie and one of these, and you can see this is a lot skinnier than the one I just had. So it's a little bit more precise. It gives you a really nice eyebrow. It's a lot more precise here. And the spoolie, you can get even free tester spoolies, from Sephora or whatever, for separating the eyelashes and combing out the brows. So those two brushes are essential, but you don't need to spend a lot on them. And last but not least is a little metal eyelash comb to separate the lashes. And I believe this is essential, and they're very inexpensive. I don't even know, I've had this one for years. They last forever. Yeah, so those are the brushes I believe are essential, and some that are really great to have. The rest of it is just gravy. So hope you found this interesting and informative, and until next time, stay happy, healthy, and gorgeous. Bye.